Hi folks, how you all doing? So this is it, the beginning of the end, or maybe I should say the end of the beginning. Yeah, all my locomotives have been packed up, apart from Maud here, and all my rolling stock, apart from these coaches. I thought it would be nice to run one last train round the layout before it gets demolished. We've got a wee crowd here to see her off, so we'll run around all the routes, and then that'll be that, the end of the line. So there we are, that's the end of this wee layout. It was fun to build and I learned an awful lot from doing it because, I hadn't built a landscaped layout before. So hopefully I'll have a better idea of what to do and what not to do with the new one. I'm still trying to figure out some of the modular aspects of the new layout. I'm sure I'll suss it out during the build, but there's one or two things I'm still kind of thinking, how on earth am I going to do this? And I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but that's all part of the fun. We'll figure it out as we go. The layout design I'm intending to build hasn't changed too much from the last one I showed you, but let's have a wee look at it. Okay, so this was the last layout that I showed you. Yeah, I was quite happy with this, but there was a couple of wee things that were bothering me a little bit. This siding here, where I plan to have my engine shed here, so locomotives will come out after I've repaired them. And in this layout, I've got them coming across the diamond crossing there, and directly onto the clockwise outer loop, which is fine. But I kind of thought if I change that to a point and have it come onto the inner loop and then through these points here onto the outer loop, that'll look quite good from a filming point of view. If I film from here, film it coming out of there and then switch, cut to here, and then I can film it coming through these points, which I think will add a little bit of interest. So I quite like that idea, so I thought, yeah, okay, we'll change that. And the other thing that was bothering me was the goods depot here. Goods train's going to come out. How do I get it to the inner loop? I could go right round the layout and through those points there. I could come up and then back down and then back. There wasn't a good way to get a goods train onto the inner loop. So I thought, right, okay, I need to have a think about that. So thinking about those two issues, this is what I've come up with. So I now come out of this siding here onto the inner loop, and then we'll go through these points. And from the goods shed, I've put a diamond crossing in here. So from there, I can come through directly onto the inner loop. So I think that kind of works better. So this section here, I want to make as removable as possible. This is the section that's going to lift out to allow me in and out. But because there's no points or anything, it's relatively easy to do that. But this section here, because we've got points and I'm going to have my stations here and people and everything else, I don't want to remove this, unless, until such times I actually really need to access opening the window or whatever. But yeah, it'll be tricky to do, because while I'm happy to have breaks in the track there and there for this section, I'm not keen on the idea of having breaks through all those tracks there. I mean, it could be doable, and I would have to wire it up with plugs and stuff to make it removable. So yeah, we'll have a think about that as I build it. I may just make sure I've got joins in the track along, between the two sections, with fish plates that I can push back to lift this out, which is kind of what I'll be doing with all these modular sections. There'll be joins in the track that I can push the fish plates back and remove these sections if I need to. It's not something that I plan to do very often, and I would hope to never have to do it, to be honest, but I think this section here I probably will need to remove from time to time. So as long as I make that not too big a job to do that, then that's fine. But obviously this piece will be a lift out section. So there we go, that's what I'm going to try and build. I've just got to get on and do it now. Okay, so I am planning to still do some sort of repair videos while I demolish this and build a new one. It's probably going to take a bit of time for me to get the new layout built, and probably a year or two before it gets anywhere near finished. But I still want to be able to do repairs and stuff, so stay tuned to see what happens. But my next video is probably going to be me taking this all apart, which is going to be fun. Quite a few people have asked if I'd considered selling or donating this layout. A few problems there. For one thing, it won't come out. It's all in one piece, so it'd have to be broken in some way or cut up. But the main thing is I want to reuse as much of the material as I can. So as much of the track, and certainly all the trees and bushes and all the buildings. There's actually one or two wee bits of steel track still in there, which I'm certainly not going to reuse, and I've got a couple of iffy points. But I'll lift the track and clean it up and reuse as much as I possibly can. And it is just made from polystyrene and plaster. It won't break up very well. It's going to be a bit of a messy job, so it's just not possible to sell this, I'm afraid. So yeah, okay folks, we'll catch you later when we start smashing this up.